Hey guys, it's Coach Kathy. Welcome back to my kitchen. I've got a really fast and delicious supper. Here in the Maritimes, in Fredericton actually, there's a pub called Brubaker's Pub, and they made a dish called maple curry chicken pasta, and it is phenomenal, and it has been copied a lot throughout other local restaurants, and rightfully so. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? So I'm going to flatter them today and cook it for you, my version of it. Now this version actually it's supposed to have some red bell peppers in it, but as always, I don't know why, but whenever I make these videos, I always need to go grocery shopping, and I don't have any peppers, so I'm just going to do double mushrooms instead. But in my pan, which I already have heated with some oil, I'm going to fry up some onions, and I'm just going to let those brown a tiny bit. And I'm going to also add my aromatics now that these have softened a little bit. So this is going to have some garlic, and there are no measurements for this recipe. I eyeball everything. So I'm going to add some garlic, and then I'm going to add some ginger. And as always, my ginger is frozen, and I just grate it, skin right on, and it goes right in. When you grate it this way, the skin kind of stays on top of your microplane, and you don't have to worry about peeling it or anything. And it is a great way to keep your ginger very fresh, because if you put it in your fridge, it can go soggy and kind of mildew almost quite quickly. So this already smells amazing, and it's starting to smell quite exotic. I've been on a little bit of a curry kick lately. I think this is my third curry that I've made for you guys, but every curry's different, and I like them all at different times for different reasons. But I think this time of year when it starts getting colder, all those warm cinnamon notes and the curry and the different spices in a garam masala, they're just comforting this time of year. This isn't usually like a July meal for me. And I did use avocado oil in here, and I'm just going to hit it with a little bit more. And as always, you want to season as you go. So we're going to do some salt. And we're going to do some pepper. And stir that around just a tiny little bit. And they're browning up great already. You never want to add your garlic to a super hot pan that doesn't already have something else in it, because it will burn. And burnt garlic is bitter garlic, and that is not good eat. Perfect. So now I'm going to go in with my pre-sliced mushrooms, and I'm using 2 packages here. But if I was using my peppers, I would probably use a package of mushrooms and then 1 to 2 bell peppers, depending on how many you're going to want to feed. So these are going to need to cook down just a little bit. We want to brown them, because remember, anytime you have the opportunity to brown something, that's caramelization, and caramelization equals flavor. So you want to always take the opportunity to get that in whenever you can, because once you add liquid, you're removing the opportunity to caramelize any further, unless you completely cook that liquid away. So liquid is the anti-caramelization. But this is going to happen pretty quick because my pan is quite hot. And that's the way we want it. So a little bit of a cheater step that I'm going to use, and another reason why, in addition to having pre-sliced mushrooms, is to use the pre-grilled, pre-cooked chicken. That also makes this go very fast. And it's great for a weeknight supper. I mean, this is ready in about 10 minutes. So this is traditionally served actually as a pasta dish. And so I'm going to be making the sauce and everything right in this. It is a one-pot dish if you're not going to have it with pasta. So there are lots of great keto and low carb and gluten-free and diabetic friendly pasta alternatives that you can use, but where I'm doing double mushrooms, where it's got a lot of mushrooms and some caramelized onion and some chicken, it tastes so good. I like it just like this, and I could eat it right out of the frying pan just as it is. But if you want to, this is delicious, tossed and combined with pasta or served on top of basmati rice. It's up to you how comfortable you are with where your carb sources are coming from. But it's definitely like a warm, comforting dish, and it's just kind of like a hug in a pan. And that is looking nice and brown. So now I'm going to add actually some broth. I'm guessing probably a cup, maybe a cup and a half. And again, this is one of those dishes that you can switch up the consistency too. If you like kind of like a runnier sauce, you could add more broth. If you want it really thick and chonky, you can just add a little bit. But I'm pushing my mushrooms and my onions out of the way so that I have a little bit of a well of the broth in the middle, because now we're going to add the creamy portion. And this is 1 brick of cream cheese that I just had in the fridge. And I did put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds just to soften it. And that's all set. So now I'm just gonna kind of stir and melt this cream cheese into the broth. And that's going to make a nice thick sauce, thick and creamy. This is just, it's almost like Alfredo had a very sweet curry baby because it does have an Alfredo feel, especially if you do it with the pasta. And if you're not a fan of curry, you could probably just keep it to an Alfredo garlicky thing, but I'm all about the curry, and so is my family. So the maple part comes from maple syrup. So you could use real maple syrup, that's great. I'm choosing to keep this on the lower carb end of the spectrum, and I'm using Steve's sugar-free maple syrup. I'm in Canada, we can get this right at our dollar store, and this has probably 2 tablespoons in it. It definitely is meant to have a sweet and savory note to it. So you're gonna get your sweet from the maple syrup, and the savory is gonna come from, you know, I love my mason jars. This is what I keep my Madras curry in, and probably a good tablespoon of curry powder, and then some garam masala. And garam masala is also going to have curry in it, but it's going to have some chili powder, some cumin, some cinnamon, maybe some black coriander. There's just a few different things that go in that. Every garam masala is different, but oh baby, does that smell good. I always feel bad for my viewers who never get to smell or taste what I make. But hopefully it inspires you to be making it yourself at home. And you can see now, because of that curry powder, we've got a lovely golden color happening. And this is almost done, you guys. Like, all we have to do now, I'm gonna actually shut the heat off, and I'm gonna add my pre-cooked chicken pieces. And I'm just gonna toss them to combine. And then this dish, I will check for seasoning, but then this dish is completely done. And these chicken strips do come as strips. So I kind of I like getting the spatulas that have kind of a pointy end, and that way, you know, you're stirring everything with it, but you can really get in there and break apart that meat or anything. You can break apart your mushrooms. It almost just acts like a little wooden knife, but because it is wood, it's safe to use on my non-stick skillet, because nothing wrecks a non-stick skillet any quicker than metal utensils. So I'm just got that coated to combine. I'm going to taste the sauce. Oh, it's good. Needs just a little bit more sweetness though. You really do want to taste that maple. So maybe I'm at about 1/4 cup now. And again, that always varies because it depends on how salty the broth I'm using is, or how much curry powder I put in when I was eyeballing it. That's why sometimes it is kind of hard to give recipes, because I do it differently every time and I use different ingredients every time. But I find if you have the fundamentals and the basics, you can kind of get the idea. So I'm just gonna scoop a little bit out here, and we're gonna try some. I want you to see what it looks like too. So yes, this creamy, luscious curry sauce with the ginger and the garlic, it tastes amazing on top of pasta or rice, but it really is so thick and saucy that this can be a meal all on its own. And I'm gonna try a mushroom here. I'm just gonna blow on it because it's hot. Let's see. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this. And I want you to love it too. This is just a little bit of everything. You know, it's still got a little bit of crunch from the onions. It's got the nice soft chew from the mushrooms. It's very meaty tasting from the chicken and the chicken broth. And then you have that savory, exotic element from the garam masala and the curry powder. And then it just finishes. You taste sweet first, and then you taste it again last from that maple syrup. So maple curry chicken pasta, done in well under 10 minutes. If you try it, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.